into flying, and how old were you?
Well, I think my first logbook entry, I was 2 years old, and that was in, let's see, I can't remember now if it was a Cessna 120 that my family owned, that my parents owned, or maybe a Cessna 172 that my grandfather was flying. But since then, I guess I started formal training when I was 15, and yeah, so it's just been a family deal, and you know, the regulations, I basically got all of the my solo and my private pilot's license at the earliest opportunity. So I soloed on my 16th birthday, and then got my license a year later at 17.
Cool. But why didn't you join the Air Force instead of the Navy or the Marine Corps?
Well, that's an interesting answer as well. I actually enlisted in the Army first.
Really?
And the goofy answer is that when I got back from my advanced training for the Army for my new job, I went back to school at the University of Kansas, and because of the training dates, when I got back, I missed the deadline for the Army ROTC scholarship application. But the Air Force still had like 3 days left, so I applied for that. Ended up in the Air Force.
Cool. I saw your biography on the Air Combat Command website, and it said you were an expert marksman with pistols and rifles. Is that where your call sign came from?
There's a piece of the story behind my call sign that does come from having been in the Army, and yeah, shooting the rifle is part of that. The other part of it is some flying what we call buffoonery as a young wingman. And most guys, you've probably asked guys before about their call sign. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Ever gotten some creative stories?
Yeah, I get some pretty interesting ones.
Yeah. Oftentimes, well, the funny thing about a call sign is that you don't pick your own.
Right.
And so generally it's your buddies picking a call sign for you, right? And usually there's some good story about something silly or goofy that you did that earned you that call sign for your mistake or funny thing. So there's some of that story that goes along with mine too.
Yeah. How do you like flying the A-10? Looks like it flies more like a stunt plane than an attack plane.
Well, that's an interesting question, because part of what makes a stunt plane or a aerobatic demonstration exciting is the same stuff that makes surface attack or makes an airplane good at surface attack. And what I'm talking about is low altitude turn capability and maneuverability. So if you look at the Mighty Hog, it's got a long straight wing with a very semi-symmetrical airfoil and drooped wing tips, and what that equates into is low altitude maneuverability.
Right, because that's what it's made for.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. How do you like performing with the demo team at air shows? It must be really different from flying combat.
Yeah, I really do like performing at air shows, and like I told you, I think very similar to what you've gotten to see in the last few years. I grew up going to air shows and kind of dreaming about being an air show pilot. So, you know, there's my aviation experience is, I'd say, is multifaceted. I grew up loving airplanes anyway, and to get to fly professionally is really an honor and a privilege. But at the end of the day, I just love flying airplanes. So If it's flying in combat and serving my country, that's great. And if it's just going upside down because I want to and it's fun, that's great too.
Yeah. When you were flying combat missions, it must feel really cool zooming in to protect the good guys and shoot the bad guys. Can you share some cool combat flying stories with me?
Well, you know, the specifics of the stuff that I was doing in combat is still technically classified as far as who was where and on what days and what we were doing, but what I will tell you is that you're absolutely right that there's an unparalleled job satisfaction that comes from being able to help someone else who's in trouble.
Right.
So that's a piece of my job that I really love. So when a guy calls me on the radio and is basically saying help, and you know, when the dust settles, you know, that guy walks away and the bad guy might not, and I get to go back to the base and go, you know what, somebody that was on the ground doing some serious work for our country gets to go do it again the next day.
Right. Can you share some cool air show flying stories with me?
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. You know, I think that one of the neatest things I did was last weekend I flew in St. Joseph, Missouri, and that's maybe 45 minutes from where I grew up in Kansas City, in that area. And my best buddy from junior high and high school was there, so it's pretty neat. When I put the landing gear down and did the slow pass and talked on the radio, I got to kind of make a shout out there to my best friend. So
cool.
That was really cool.
Alright, well, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, you know, just that if anybody that is listening to this or sees this video or listens to this on the radio wants to come out in an air show and check out the A-10, they can come find me and we'll show it to them. You can also check us out now on Facebook and Twitter, and then also you can just Google the Aerial Events website from Air Combat Command, and we'd love to see anybody come out and come find me and we'll show you the airplane.
I'm sure people will.
You bet.
Well, thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Thanks, Evan.
And I had a great time interviewing you.
Awesome. Thanks, bud.
Yep.
Cool.
Good job.
All right.